Hey folks, Triple Crown here, coming to you from Vancouver, British Columbia. This is a round 6 summary of the continuation solo playtest I have going on. So this is what the Japanese are doing in the South Pacific. They are branching out. They've taken Celebes, they've taken Borneo, Brunei, and Dutch East Indies. So the Japanese Navy is in a position where they have forced the Australians and Anzac to basically hunker down here in Sydney. But next turn, I have a feeling the Japanese will be going to take Dutch New Guinea, where there is a naval base, and from that point, the Navy is in position to basically force the Australians probably down here where they will not be able to build any more Navy and kind of be in a stuck, kind of a holding pattern, while the Japanese and their naval transports are able to go gobble up the rest of the money islands. But in going this way, there's always a sacrifice. The British over here in the FEC, now these black chips represent 5 units. They are pushing towards Burma. They are basically getting ready to possibly do an excursion again into China. But this is risky because all these transports could come back over here where there's a naval base and set up to do the Calcutta Crush on the following turn. So the FEC had a lot of money to spend. They currently now have 4 aircraft, which is pretty amazing. And they have branched out here into China with 2 units here, another couple units there. Their tank Dai that was in Sichuan did not get a single shot in return fire. However, the KMT had a little bit of resurgence. They were able to take about 4 Chinese units, and they had a build here, so that's their last real build. I think they have one more 3 IPP left remaining, and the Russians did an in and out in this territory here. So currently the KMT or the CCP has 3 to spend next turn, assuming that's if the Japanese do not come in and take it back. But currently Japan last turn decided not to spend at their factories. They were able to take Hong Kong, take Singapore down here, do a small build here in Siam. However, they were only able to put 3 units on the mainland of China, and this could come back to haunt them later on. They decided to spend their money on Navy, and they spent their money on Navy because the Americans over here decided to build another couple transports. So they do not like this U.S. naval presence. So currently Japan has 95 to spend next turn. U.S. is now in the war, so U.S. is still a little bit undecided which way they're going to go. Their Navy currently is bigger than the Japanese Navy, but for how much longer? And now Japan's in a spot where they're able to put ground units in the mainland of China, get even richer with these money islands down here, and while building a Navy at the same time. So how much longer can the Russians, the British, the KMT, and the CCP able to hold on? Now Japan also came up here took some of the territories up here, getting a little bit richer and also weakening Russia at the same time. What's happening here over in Africa? We're actually now the FEC is now being convoyed, so that's a loss of 4 IPP in addition to the other territories they have here. So the battle of the economies is starting to swing in the Japanese favor. However, the British are still putting up a heck of a fight here. Now they've annexed Turkey, they've retaken Greece, and also gone into Bulgaria. They currently have about maybe 5 units here in Greece, which have to be dealt with. Now the goal here is really just to force the Italians and the Germans here in Romania to come this direction south rather than to attack Russia. Currently, there's a bit of a standoff here happening. Nobody wants to attack anybody between Western Ukraine and Oleg Kursk. Currently, the Turks flew their aircraft along with the British aircraft Oleg Kursk to help beef it up. And the British are in Kharkov and in Stalingrad, so they have their element of a can opener as well. Ping pong action still happening, although the Russians did come in a little bit heavier into Valkyrie this turn, so that's kind of interesting. Over here in Western Europe, the Germans built another, actually I haven't put it on the map, they did get another free hedgehog there that goes in Bordeaux, and they are building pretty heavy here in Western Europe. Now the fact that the Japanese did not attack and kept US out of the war really delayed the Allies coming over for a full turn. So it cost them a little bit in the money, but in the long term, it helped Germany reinforce Western Europe. They've got their Navy now in position to hit anything that comes to Sea Zone 28 the following turn. Whether or not they'll have enough to wipe it out, that's another story, but it should be, the Allies have to bring absolutely everything with the Americans. So the Germans debated whether or not to send their whole Navy here and scramble from an air base, but they still didn't quite have the numbers. The British built a Lancaster heavy bomber here in London, which has eyes on maybe bombing a factory here in Western Europe. The Americans built another battleship and another couple transports, so they are ready to drop off 10 units next turn over here, in addition to the Canadians, who can load 4 transports up here and also another 2 transports down here. So that is a problem for the Germans. However, whatever does a landing there, hopefully with all their aircraft, they can take it back. The Italians are down to 19 IPP in their economy. They are trying to help out by making sure the Germans do not lose Yugoslavia next turn. Or maybe they're going to do their own little version of a counterattack. So we'll see what happens with the Germans and the Italians, whether or not they want to work together to take back Greece and Bulgaria, which is a problem. So currently tilting in the favor of the Allies, maybe here in the Pacific. A little bit of a standoff here happening in the Eastern Front. Nobody can attack anybody. But I would say the Japanese are starting to turn the tide over here in the South Pacific. And now that they're going to be able to spend over here in the mainland in China again, I would anticipate the tides are going to be turning over here as well. So that is a conclusion of the round 6 summary. And stay tuned, folks, for round 7. Oh yeah, one more little thing. This territory over here in Iraq, it goes pro-Allied. So it starts the game pro-Allied, pro-Axis, and if the Axis do not annex it by turn 7, it becomes pro-Allied. That's basically meaning that these guys were sort of on the fence and thinking they wanted to side with whoever was going to buy their oil and provide security. And the start of the game, they felt that was the Axis, and now that it's round 7, if the Axis aren't coming to help, well, then we're going to change our allegiance. So that's what's happening there. So the British will be able to annex. They've been getting a free guy every second turn, so there's five guys currently in Iraq that are going to be British next turn. So thanks for watching, folks, and stay tuned for round 8.